afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Nathan, and today we're going to be. Oh, sorry, sorry for the bad intro. But today, in Lyrics That Matter, the podcast where we talk about rap albums and their significance to the world through their lyrics and their music, we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite rappers of all time again, and one of Moreno's favorite rappers of all time, which is Kendrick Lamar, and we're going to be reviewing his album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So, just some background information: it's the fifth studio album that's released by Kendrick Lamar, and it was officially released on May 13th, 2022, by Top Dog Entertainment, Aftermath Entertainment, Interscope Records, and PJ Lang. And basically, this album serves as his first release under the creative company PG Lang, and his final project with both TDE and Aftermath. So he collaborated with Soundwave, I think that's how you pronounce his name, JLBS, DJ Dahi, and Becken for the majority of the album's production. So basically, some background based off Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is a concept album, and this album reflects and analyzes on his life experiences during his therapy journey. And the thing about Mr. Brown the Big Steppers is that his lyrics touch on a variety of personal themes, and these include childhood, generational trauma, celebrity worship, and infidelity, which is it brings a universality aspect to his viewers who can also kind of relate to it. There are elements of jazz, R&B, trap, and soul, and there's a bunch of guest appearances from people like Baby Keem, Kodak Black, uh, and yeah, just more rappers and artists. So we have seven songs that we'd like to review today. So first is United in Grief. Second is N95. Third is Worldwide Steppers. Fourth is Die Hard. Fifth is Father Time. Six is Rich Spirit, and seven is We Cry Together. So, yeah, enough of the boring intro, and let's just get straight into Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Let's go. Uh, After listening to United in Grief, oh, by the way, if you guys haven't listened to it, make sure you follow along with me. Uh, I don't do transitions anymore because it's a podcast and I don't really want to have any weird interruptions. But yeah, basically, you guys listen to the pause, then yeah, it's your turn to listen to it. So we just finished listening to United in Grief by Kendrick Lamar, and this album is it just has him. It's mainly his vocals. Well, yeah, it mainly is. It's just his vocals. And in my opinion, this is one of the best openings to a rap album of all time. The beat switch in the beginning was incredibly masterful. I expected, I was already a fan of the opening. I could have gone like the next 4 minutes just with that soft and somber beat, but it's okay. It's okay that we got the other part. So yeah, so a lot of things that you already know about Kendrick from the past episodes that we had is that first is the structural and flow shifts. The song constantly shifts tone and rhythm, and it starts calmly with these beautiful vocals and calm piano chords with some amazing storytelling. But it also then escalates into aggressive and almost chaotic production. And I mean, you already know what I'm talking about if you've already listened to the song. And this reflects the chaotic duality of grief. Sometimes grief is numb and contemplative, but other times it's this overwhelming force that just takes over you. Uh, then there's some other parts of Kendrick's style. First is the confessional and vulnerable tone. He openly discusses trauma, infidelity, therapy, as well as survivor skills. Not to what exactly. I didn't do that much research into Kendrick's background, but we already know from past albums like Damn, To Pimp a Butterfly, and yeah, other albums like that where he used to be in that life, and now he's just he's a rapper now. And he has a family. Uh, One of the quotes that's really prominent, it's probably the most iconic uh, quote in this album, is "I grieve different." And this repetition here emphasizes the individuality of mourning. His grief isn't the same as others, and it isn't really easy to categorize. And then there's also the juxtaposition of material wealth as well as emotional pain. And Kendrick repeatedly contrasts his expensive lifestyle with his inner turmoil. And one of the quotes that I personally like is, "I bought a Rolex watch, I only wore it once." And the use of luxury items highlights the emptiness. He buys things that he doesn't find meaning in them, and it underlines how grief can't be healed purely by materialism. Well, no, well, it can't be healed by materialism. Uh, and uh, the global significance is the universality of the universal struggle with grief. And by repetition of "I grieve different," Kendrick highlights that grief is deeply personal, yet collective. The song normalizes these conversations around mental health, trauma, and coping mechanisms, which can reduce the stigma worldwide. And another thing that he discusses is trauma, because Kendrick doesn't only speak for himself. He represents marginalized communities where systemic violence, poverty, and racism compound grief. And his vulnerability encourages global listeners to empathize with others instead of dismissing it. So, yeah, that's just what I think about United in Grief. Um, let's go on to the next song, which is N95. Let's go. That was the song N95 by Kendrick Lamar. So, in my opinion, of course, it's a really well composed song, which complements Kendrick's ability to rap on these chaotic beats, with these chaotic instrumentals and rampaging percussion. But uh, yeah, that's basically what I thought about it. Let's go on to the authorial choices. So first, something that we need to discuss is the title. And the title N95 refers to the N95 mask during the COVID-19 pandemic, which symbolizes both physical protection from disease and a metaphorical mask that people wear to hide their true selves. And Kendrick uses this double meaning to critique society's materialism, false appearances, and hypocrisy. And this is something that we've seen a lot from rappers like Kanye West, the creator who imposed the themes of duality in their works. So next is the direct imperatives as well as the satire aspect. Kendrick often commands listeners to take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi. And these imperatives strip away layers of superficiality. And by using repetition and listening, he mimics a cleansing ritual, and he's satirizing modern consumerism as well as fake identities. Next is the aggressive tone and flow. His sharp and staccato delivery matches the song's themes of tearing down illusions. The beat is minimalist, but it's also hard hitting, and it reinforces the urgency of his message. And I think in his second verse, Kendrick goes deeper in the social critique. "You out of pocket, two idioms, you stepping or what?" He mocks greed and material obsession, highlighting how wealth and clout have replaced morality and human connection. So, next, since Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is a broad album, they do connect. They do connect in a way, but the message of the songs are mainly different. The global significance that I can identify is the message about consumerism and how Kendrick critiques how modern society ties identities to brands and material wealth. And the song suggests that if we take off these masks, we're left with our true and vulnerable selves. And globally, this speaks to the need of redefining values beyond consumerism. So yeah, uh, N95 is satirical, but it's an urgent critique of consumerism as well as hypocrisy. Kendrick's authorial choices forces listeners to confront their own masks. And yeah, that's basically it from what I can get from the song. Next song that we'll be talking about now is Worldwide Steppers. Have a great listen. Sometimes you listen to a song on Spotify and you play it for the first time, and then you're like, why am I listening to this? For me, it's because I need to analyze this song. For you, it's because I'm telling you to listen to this song so you get my analysis. But if you were a listener, I'd probably just skip this song. I'd probably just skip this song. I know people love Mr. Around the Big Steppers, but me personally, I'm not a fan. But yeah, Worldwide Steppers is one of the top hits. Is it? No, it's one of the least played. It's the least played, besides the interlude. But yeah, I can see why. So let's just go on to the authorial choices. From here, I found three. First is the minimalistic and definitely unsettling production. The beat is stripped down and it's almost mechanical. It's with eerie piano notes, mainly appearing near the end, well, near the midway until the end. This choice forces listeners to focus on Kendrick's words rather than being carried away by a good beat. And if you listen to the song, it's just doop 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 doop. The stagness mirrors the discomfort of his confessions. So next is the stream of consciousness as well as Kendrick's expert narration. He delivers his verses in a monotone, which is prominent. It's a stylistic choice by Kendrick, which is prominent in other songs, and it resembles more like a therapy session. The lack of emotional inflection mirrors repression, as if he's forcing himself to confess without any drama or without dramatizing. And finally, there's the confessional lyricism. Instead of glamorizing his past, he bluntly admits his contradictions, as well as his hypocrisies, as well as his personal struggles. And it's an intentional break from the idolized rapper persona that we know of Kendrick today. Um, Here's some key verses. I'm a killer, he's a killer, she's a killer. We some killers, walking zombies, trying to scratch that itch. Kendrick universalizes guilt and flaws, suggesting everyone is killing something, whether innocence, relationships, or mortality. And the zombie metaphor highlights the numbness to violence and sin, which also makes it a societal critique. He says, I've been going through something, be afraid. And he sets a confessional tone as Kendrick acknowledges that his revelations may disturb his listeners and shows his courage to use his vulnerability as artistic power. So, again, global significance, he's confronting hypocrisy and shared guilt. The repeated admission of being a killer resonates beyond Kendrick. It forces listeners to confront their complicity in systemic violence, racism, or silence in the face of oppression. He breaks the stigma around confession and vulnerability as he models raw honesty, showing that confronting inner demons is essential for growth. And this message is globally relevant in dismantling toxic masculinity and the culture of silence around trauma. Uh, Now we're going to go on to the next song on the album, which is personally my favorite. Uh, it's not the most played song in this album, but it's the second most played in disc one at least. And yeah, let's just listen to it. Let's listen to the song "Die Hard." Contrasting the last song that we listened to, uh, I actually listened to this song twice before deciding to record this section of the podcast because oh my god, Die Hard is the best song of this album. uh, like I said, uh, Die Hard is my favorite song of the album. This soft beat, the very meaningful lyrics, as well as the features from Blast and Amanda Reifer. I can't believe I forgot to mention her name in the intro. But yeah, this is my favorite. So let's just go on to the authorial choices immediately. First is the collaborative voices. aka Blast and Amanda Reifer. Or Reefer, I'm not sure. Anyway, the hook sung by Blast and Reefer off softens the track, contrasting Kendrick's introspective verses. This song gives this confessional but hopeful tone. Again, the example, one of his quotes, I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. The repetition of this plea emphasizes vulnerability and the fear of losing love or redemption. Next is Kendrick's tone. Of course, he uses a conversational and almost hesitant tone rather than aggression, contrasting the other songs in this album. He shows humility as well as emotional fragility. This is one of those songs where he's being the most vulnerable, and his delivery shifts from smooth rap and melodic flows, reflecting his inner conflict between trying to keep composure, trying to keep composure, and opening up emotionally. Next is the lyricism. Kendrick exposes his flaws and admits uncertainty about being loved unconditionally. I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. I know I made you wait, but how much can you take? This rhetorical question reveals guilt and the weight of his imperfection. And finally, there's the instrumentation. The beat blends smooth R&B textures with hip hop percussion. The warmth of the instrumental contrasts the heaviness of these lyrics, suggesting healing is possible even amid struggle. This is one of those songs where he's not really confronting an issue, but uh, human vulnerability and healing is one of the main topics or global significances in this song. Human vulnerability and healing, the song normalizes admitting personal flaws and struggles with demons. In a world where many hide vulnerabilities, Kendrick's openness encourages honesty in relationships and self growth. This can reduce the stigma around discussing inner battles, whether personal mistakes or mental health issues. And his message to the world is that the song promotes emotional accountability by admitting flaws and seeking forgiveness instead of suppressing them. On a global scale, it teaches that compassion and understanding are key to healthier relationships and societies. So this is one of the better, not better, one of the less melancholic songs. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that song. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next song of this album, which is wait, let me find the list of songs that I wanted to do. Sorry. Oh, jeez. uh, so the next song that we're going to be listening to is "Father Time." Yeah. So let's go. You know, after the whole fight with Kendrick and Drake, I would have preferred that he released this album after the Drake the Drake fight because honestly, the current Kendrick and his new song, well, some of his songs, Euphoria, and what's the other one? Uh, the really melancholic one. Uh, well, he was just talking about Drake on that one, but after the release of Not Like Us, I wasn't Not Like Us wasn't. Oh wait, but he did release BMX though. Yeah, that's right. Sorry for the weird intro, but anyway, uh, we're going to be talking about Father Time now. And Father Time explores the concept of toxic masculinity and generational cycles of emotional repression in men specifically. And Kendrick reflects on his upbringing and how societal and familial expectations of manhood shaped him. And the song suggests that healing requires breaking these cycles by embracing vulnerability. Again, that's something, yeah, I can't get my comment on this. So, first, there's of course the personal narrative, the autobiographical reflection. Kendrick grounds the song in his own experiences. Daddy issues hit my emotions, never expressed myself. Man should never show feelings, being sensitive never helped. Again, toxic masculinity. He uses confessional storytelling to reveal how cultural and paternal pressures have taught him to suppress his emotions. And this personal lens makes the theme universally relatable to all men across cultures. Next, he juxtaposes the strength expected of him with the emotional damage it caused. Then it's the contrast of vulnerability and stoicism. Everything from the four walls had taught me made habits breathe deep. Authorial choices, domestic imagery, aka four walls, symbolizes the entrapment of masculinity inside societal structures. Next, there's a dialogue with his father. Kendrick quotes his father's commands: "Men should never cry," or "man should never cry," and his use of direct, authoritative language emphasizes the intergenerational voice of masculinity, which Kendrick later critiques. And then there's the collaboration with Sampha, which uses her voice as a counterpoint. Sampha's soft and soulful chorus acts as a musical counterbalance to Kendrick's sharp and stark verses. His voice symbolizes emotional openness, almost like a plea for healing, offering hope amidst Kendrick's conflicted tone. Uh, the global significance, of course, is the most obvious one. Explicitly, it's about the breaking of toxic masculinity. And the song challenges the widespread idea that men must hide vulnerability across cultures. Boys are often taught to man up rather than expressing their feelings, and Kendrick's openness highlights the harm of emotional suppression on mental health as well as relationships. So, why does it matter globally? Father Time carries a message of healing through vulnerability and rethinking masculinity, relevant across cultures where rigid gender norms exist. And the world benefits when men learn to process and share emotions, reducing violence as well as improving relationships, with the positive side effect, of course, fostering mental well being. Next is another song. Well, I haven't actually listened to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers of its entirety, so let's listen to it. The song is called Rich Spirit. Let's listen. This isn't one of Kendrick's songs that I would put in my playlist, but it's still a really good song. Rich Spirit is Kendrick Lamar's meditation on detachment from materialism, toxic culture, and fame. He contrasts external wealth with internal peace, arguing that spiritual clarity and authenticity matter more than consumerism or image. So let's just talk about the authorial choices real quick. First is the minimalist beat and calm tone. The beat is stripped down and it's almost meditative compared to other earlier tracks like N95, which is very chaotic. And this reflects the theme of restraint and rejecting excess, mirroring his desire for inner peace. And the contrast is critiquing culture while flexing. He uses typical rap boast formats, but he often undercuts them with reflections. Example: I bought a Rolex watch. I only used it for a countdown. And normally a Rolex is flaunted as a status symbol, but Kendrick flips it, using it as merely a tool, reducing material luxury to practicality. And this authorial choice deconstructs the usual tropes of hip hop. Then there's repetition as affirmation. Kendrick repeatedly declares boundaries like "Stop playing with me before I turn you into a song," and it has this mantra like delivery, which and shows his determination to protect his peace, using music as both a shield and an outlet for conflict. Next is the global significance. There's two things that I'd like to talk about. First is the critique of consumerism. The line about the Rolex challenges global cultures and obsessed with luxury branding as a measure of self worth. This is significant for societies struggling with hyperconsumption, where happiness is equated with wealth. And finally, the boundaries and mental health. By repeating boundaries, "Stop playing with me," Kendrick models self preservation in an era of uh, burnout and toxic online culture. There you go. And his insistence of inner clarity shows the global need for mental and emotional wellness. Through minimalist sound design, the reversal of luxury symbols, and as well as his spiritual imagery, Kendrick Lamar's rich spirit transcends typical rap tropes to encourage listeners worldwide to re-examine their values. So, we're on to the final song of the album, and to be honest, it's not the last song of disc one, but I decided to do this one because I feel like there's more room for analysis than the next song of the last song of the actual album, which is Purple Hearts. But yeah, the next song is not a song that you want to put on your playlist. You don't want to listen to this song if you just want to like chill out or have it be used as background noise. No, the song is "We Cry Together." I thought it was gonna be a good song. "We Cry Together." That sounds like the most That sounds like a title that's like, oh my god, there's going to be choirs and organs and pianos. And then it sounded like that for like the first 10 seconds. And then this is what the real world sounds like. And then there's immediate dialogue and swears being said every 1 second. So, yeah. There's a, this, don't listen to this song, or if you want to listen to the song for the analysis part, like, okay, yeah, this clearly shows duality, this clearly shows toxic masculinity, this clearly shows the real state of the world right now, then do it. But don't put it in your playlist and listen to it 24/7. It's not a song that you listen to for good vibes. So, first is the dramatic monologue and dialogue format. This entire track plays like a theatrical performance between Kendrick and actress Taylor Page, and it's structured as a toxic argument instead of a typical rap verse. Lamar, Kendrick Lamar uses the call and response dialogue to mimic a real fight between a couple. There's a rapid back and forth lines like, "You the reason our kids scared to go to school, you the reason they don't know their daddy's name," create an overwhelming sense of chaos and anger. And this authorial choice makes the listener feel like an intruder in an intensely personal conflict. Like, do you guys feel like this sense of uncomfortability when you're listening to a song like this? Like, I don't think anyone would feel good listening to a song where a couple just fights and then you hear all their personal stuff. Next is their raw language and delivery. There's excessive use of explicit language, insults, and slurs, and it's intentional. It's meant to strip away polish and show the brutal reality of toxic relationships. Kendrick and Page's voice escalate in tone and aggression throughout the song, and it mimics how arguments spiral in real life. Despite all the venom and argument, the argument ends in sudden the arguments ends in sudden intimacy, and there's this irony and resolution. Uh, if you guys listen to the end of the song, you'd understand. But the irony highlights the cyclical nature of abuse, where anger and reconciliation becomes a destructive loop. And of course, there's the minimalistic beat, which is used to focus more on the lyrics than on the than the musical beat. So, global significance. There's toxic relationships as a universal issue. The song sheds light on how toxic relationships are not rare, but it's actually a widespread universal theme, and it's evident in across cultures and societies. And by making listeners feel like an intruder, making them feel uncomfortable, it forces them to confront and reflect on the ways of unresolved trauma, poor communication, and gender dynamics that fuel cycles of abuse. So yeah, I think that's what we can cover from We Cry Together. Yeah, Mr. Morale is both a persona and a theme. It represents Kendrick's attempt to confront his deepest traumas, flaws, and generational cycles instead of running from them. Where the Big Steppers, or in Disc 1, focuses on surface level issues, social critique, and external struggles. Mr. Morale is where he looks inward, his therapy, childhood wounds, toxic masculinity, and his forgiveness. The album uses Mr. Morale as a metaphor for moral responsibility and healing, and Kendrick positions himself not as a prophet, as many fans once saw him, but as a man in therapy, where he admits his mistakes and is working through them. I think this is one of Kendrick's best works. Second behind, well, not really second. Well, yeah. Well, in the global scheme of things, where if I compared this song to others based on like analysis and message, I think this would be number two or number one. I still think Damn is my favorite Kendrick album, but yeah, uh, that's just what we can get from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and yeah, uh, I guess I have to give my rating now. Uh, Based on the songs that you've already heard before, I think Die Hard is probably like one of my top three favorite Kendrick songs of all time. United in Grief and 95, Worldwide Steppers. Not Worldwide Steppers, no, definitely not. But United in Grief, Worldwide Steppers, Die Hard, Father Time. Definitely one of Kendrick's best albums. And this is only disc one. I'm not going to release part two after this because I'll be releasing another episode after Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers part one. But a part two will be coming out soon where we covered disc two of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So, uh, yeah. Let's yeah, well, let's rate it now. I think Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is a solid 8. It's an 8. 7.5. 7.5. Just the overall tone and vibe of the song. If Moreno were here, he would definitely kill me for giving such a low rating on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I'm sorry, Moreno, but that's just what I think of the album. So yeah, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, 7.5 from me. I'm not sure what I'll be reviewing next, but you'll just have to wait and see. Thank you, everyone. And remember, lyrics do matter. Thank you.